Title: Wife requested an open relationship and shocked me with divorce paper. I've been receiving numerous texts and calls from my wife, but I haven't responded to any of them. I recently had an initial meeting with a divorce attorney. It went well, and he provided me with helpful insights regarding what I need to do in preparation for the divorce. He mentioned that the pictures and videos I have will serve as useful evidence. Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. We are back with another story. Dear friends, if you want to submit a story, please send it to Lessons from Life. Here, I'll put it on the screen. It's Lessons from Life. Whether it's a funny story, a success story, a story where you succeeded after going through a lot of hardships, someone who listens to your story, you can help them, man. Even if there is only one person listening, they hear your story, they hear the mistakes you made or the success you had because of the right decisions, you can still help that person. If you do that, you've done your job. But please send those stories to that email. Title readers, let's get into it. So here's the situation. I'm a 23-year-old guy, and my wife is 25. Recently, she asked me for permission to sleep with someone from her work. In return, she said I could sleep with anyone I wanted. What should I do? We've been married for just over a year. Overall, it's been a happy marriage. We've had our minor disagreements, but nothing major. We never discussed an open marriage or shared partners until recently. One day, my wife approached me and asked if I would sleep with another woman if given a free pass. I told her no, that she was the only one I wanted. She seemed annoyed by my answer, which took me by surprise since I thought it would make her happy. She pushed further, asking, "Really? Not with anyone?" I stayed firm in my response. After some back and forth, she finally admitted that there's a colleague at work that she would like to hook up with. I asked if they had already been talking about it or if there was any sexual history between them. She denied it, and the conversation ended shortly after. However, I started feeling suspicious, so I went through her phone. To my shock, I found numerous explicit photos she had sent to this guy, along with texts where they were sexting. It was clear that something had been going on behind my back. She then asked me for permission to meet up with him. She insisted that it would only be a few times, no emotional attachment, just physical. She also said I could have my own free pass as well. I was stunned. She had never shown much interest in other men, and I always thought she was shy around people. She told me she found him incredibly attractive and that she would regret it if she didn't go through with it. She even went as far as saying that he had a bigger package than anyone she had been with before. She said she loved me, but this was just something she wanted to experience. I told her from the beginning that I didn't want any part of an open marriage and that I only wanted her. She kept insisting, telling me I would feel bad if I didn't take advantage of my free pass. At one point, she even offered to ask some of her friends if they were interested in me or help find someone else. I was completely torn, unsure of what to do. We genuinely love each other, and this decision felt like it could break us. But I kept thinking about how she had been treating me, and something didn't sit right. A couple of weekends ago, they finally met up. I tried to accept it. I tried to be happy for her and go along with it, but it became clear that she didn't care about me. She wouldn't let me set any boundaries for their meetings. I told her I wasn't comfortable with what was happening, but she refused to listen. The final straw came this past weekend. She left early Saturday morning, barely acknowledging me. Later, she told me she stayed the night at his place without telling me beforehand. To make matters worse, she admitted that he had invited one of his friends over, and she hooked up with both of them. When she came back, I was furious. She laughed and brushed it off, saying I needed to get over it and that I wasn't being manly for being upset. I realized she no longer cared about me. This wasn't the woman I had married. I had been trying to make this work, but her behavior became more disrespectful with every passing day. She kept meeting with him, disregarding my feelings completely. After one final conversation where she laughed at my boundaries, I packed my things and left. I went to stay with my brother, and he's been supportive throughout this ordeal. I've had countless texts and calls from my wife since then, but I haven't responded. My brother is helping me find a divorce lawyer, and this marriage is coming to an end. A few days ago, I decided to update you all because so many people have reached out asking for news on the situation. I left my wife last week and went to stay with my brother. After talking to him and reading the comments here, I figured I should return home and make sure I wouldn't lose everything in the divorce. My brother came with me for support. When we got there, my wife tried to talk to me, but I ignored her completely. She started getting aggressive, pushing me and trying to grab me. I pushed her away, and my brother warned her that if she didn't stop, he'd call the police. She finally left, and I didn't hear from her again that night. The next day, I received a selfie of her and the co-worker, no text, just the photo. My brother was furious when I showed it to him, calling her out for being sick in the head. I met with a divorce attorney, and the initial consultation went well. He gave me a lot of important information about what to expect. The pictures and videos I have of her with the co-worker might help, but there's a chance she could claim I consented to everything, despite the manipulation involved. I spoke to my parents about everything and they were shocked. They didn't believe it at first, but my brother backed me up and they understood my position. I also eventually spoke to her parents. They were devastated by what I told them and even hugged me before I left. They said they understood why I had to leave her, even though they didn't want to see us get divorced. I've been keeping in touch with my attorney and just trying to stay focused on what's next. Last Saturday, I received a text from my wife saying she was coming over. I told her she wasn't welcome. She showed up anyway and I reluctantly agreed to talk to her. She told me that her parents were angry with her and they'd mention a divorce. She accused me of being childish for telling them before her. I told her I couldn't talk to her anymore as she had been so manipulative. She started sobbing uncontrollably, asking me why I was doing this. I explained that she had been disrespectful and treated me terribly. She promised things would be different if I took her back, but I told her I couldn't. After that, she left. The next day, I woke up to more texts and voicemails from her apologizing and explaining how much she loves me. I was heartbroken listening to them, remembering how much I loved her too. But I reminded myself of everything she had done, and I couldn't let her manipulate me again. I've gotten messages from her friends telling me I need to take her back. They've been cursing me out, telling me I was wrong for talking to her parents first. But her parents have been nothing but supportive of me, and that's been comforting. I'm still processing everything, but I know I'm doing the right thing. I've found the strength to stand up for myself, and I don't regret leaving her. Thanks for your support. I'll keep updating if anything major happens, but for now, I'm moving forward with the divorce. To sum it up, I'm divorcing my wife because she crossed boundaries by continuing to sleep with her coworker despite my objections. This situation has been emotionally draining, but I know it's the right decision for me. Commentary. This post has been one of the hardest things I've had to read. If your wife is asking you for permission to sleep with someone else, she's already showing a huge amount of disrespect. It's clear that you've been manipulated throughout this process, and it's so good that you're finally taking control of your own life. The comments about the disrespect are valid. No one should ever let themselves be treated like that. You're doing the right thing, and I hope you continue to stand strong. And that's the end of this video, everyone. If you have any thoughts you'd like to share, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content. Turn on notifications to stay updated on my latest posts. See you next time.